Hey, hey, hey. Welcome to a world of laughter, learning, and entertainment. Welcome, friends, to our video dedicated to Portianou. Let's dive right in and uncover its wonders. Portianou, Greek, is a village on the Greek island of Lemnos, located northeast of Myrina. Brace yourself for a deep dive into geography as we explore its impact and relevance in our evolving narrative. Neopedino Paleopedino, Southwest. Get ready to uncover the mysteries surrounding population as we navigate its intriguing terrain. Year population 1981 244 1991 251 2001 306 2011 314 2021 236. As we enter this new phase, let's navigate the complexities of the name and discover its practical applications. Originally, the village was located further west near the area known as Ayers Spiridon, where we find remains of a cemetery and traces of old houses. According to Old Testaments, which cannot be verified, about 3 centuries ago a plague forced the population to move the village to its present position. In any event, the village's name is not mentioned in any record kept by the Byzantine monasteries in Lemnos, as is the case with most other villages in the island. The first encounter of the name can be traced in 1785 on a map by Choiseul Gauffier with the name of Portianou, a fact that leads us to conclude that the village was actually established 3 centuries ago. From later-day travelers like Cons 1858, Delaney 1898, and Frederick 1904, the place name is noted as Portianous in the male gender. In community documents it is referred as Portianou. Finally, it was recorded as Portianan neutral. The place name is of Latin origins and seems to come from the merging of 2 words, Porto Juno, new port, referring to a small port that once existed to the southeast of the village, in an area known as Mare de Black Earth. The remains of an old watchtower Vigla are still visible there, overlooking the port. It was probably built by the Venetians during their brief occupation of the island between. Until 1940, the remains of the tower stood at approximately 6 meters high. However, it was almost destroyed during the German occupation of the island during World War II. As we progress, let's shine a spotlight on the Ottoman period and examine its intricate interplay within our topic. From the old community documents we learn that during 1854 the village had a priest named Margaritis. In 1856 it had 147 young men who paid 2.07 grossia to avoid military service. In 1863 it had 71 resident families, which in 1874 became 80, proof of a growing population. In the same year, 1874, 97 houses were recorded in the village, which belonged to the municipal area of Condias. The Portianites had also the right to send 2 representatives to the Pan-Lemnian Regional Council. At the end of the 19th century, the community had circulated coins stamped with initials Chorian Portianou e Portianou village, whilst in 1912 the village hosted local post office with its own distinct seal. During that period the village was used as a midway station and crossing point of the Madros Gulf for all those wishing to cross to the east side of the island and vice versa. This was due to the difficulty of crossing the Varos Bridge, which became impassable during the winter months due to the overflowing of the stream of Metropolis. There were close ties and social contact with Madros because many merchants had shops on both sides of the bay. There were reports of shipping activities with special mention of the ship owner Podares around 1875. With our curiosity piqued, let's embark on a dedicated exploration of the church and its fascinating intricacies. In 1835, during the diocese of the Metropolitan Bishop Nectarios, as it is noted on the inscription, the main church of the village was built dedicated to the entry of the Most Holy Mother to the temple. In 1858, when Cons passed through the village, he admired the colors of the church, which housed a marble sarcophagus. In a later inscription, during 1875, Pantelis Zanis is recorded as the master builder credited with the erection of this church. The same builder is credited with the building of churches in the villages of Atsiki 1868, Plati and Voros. The church was decorated by Agalos Bintus from the village of Sarpi. The church, a triplet basilica, is impressive as it towers over the village, built on a small hill on the northwestern area of the village. It has an impressive screen with elaborate carvings, gold-plated and icons painted by Gregoris Papamelis. The columns of the outer narthex are made from marble and most probably belonged to an earlier building. The bell tower is a later addition. Get ready to immerse yourself in the world of the schools as we examine its impact and relevance. The community school was established in 1870 by the name of Christodoulidian Boys' School, in honor of the founders and benefactors Kyriakos and Maria Christodoulo, wealthy Lemnians from Cairo, also instrumental in the erection of Metropolitan Church of Myrina and the founding of the Lemnian Brotherhood. The school had about 80 students and in 1874 became the community school. Initially with 3 classes, in 1909 adding another class and another in 1912. An all-girls school was established in 1905, named Frigadiotiko, after its founder Athanasios Frigadiatis, who came to Lemnos from Smyrna. The 2 schools merged in 1920 and formed a primary 6 classes mixed school 1920, which was eventually housed in an impressive new school in building in 1931. Regionally it functioned with 3 teachers and later with 2, eventually with only 1 teacher in 1963. Eventually it was closed due to lack of students. Today part of it functions as a nursery school. The main benefactors were Vasilius and Penelope Tselios, Diogos and Myrina Constantinou, as well as Antonios Velisaridis. Amongst many notable teachers of the Portianou school were Christos Kontelis, Emmanuel Ioannidis, Evangelia Moridi, Vaios Rigopoulos and Ignatios Papadopoulos. Now, let's redirect our focus towards recent period and discover its significance in our narrative. From April 1915 up until 1920, hundreds of dead soldiers from the Gallipoli campaign were buried in the Allied cemetery of Portianou, which stands to this day. There are 352 well-kept graves of British, French, Australian, New Zealand, Egyptian and Indian soldiers in this cemetery. During the Gallipoli campaign, Portianou was chosen as the command centre by the young Winston Churchill, mastermind behind the ill-fated war effort. The seat he used in the house he occupied is on exhibition in the local Portianou Folkloric Museum. During, hundreds of Russian expatriates and soldiers were accommodated in an area between the villages of Portianou and Simondria. They lived in very bad conditions, selling off their belongings in order to survive. Finally, 292 of them died during an epidemic which broke out during. They were buried in what is today known as the Russian Cemetery, close to the sea. In 1918, Portianou was listed as a community, which included the village of Pesbrigan for a few months, and later, between 1919 and 1928, the village of Angorians. Between the 2 world wars, the community witnessed important growth. The population increased to 617 residents in 1920, and in 1938 it numbered 750 residents and 250 houses. Notable amongst other activities was the establishment of the Ithriumvas Football Club, which played against Lovodokari and Mavros in 1931. After the war, the village population was in decline due to migration. From a population of 564 people in 1951, today it numbers a population of just above 200. Despite the population drain, it still keeps a regional medical office and a cultural society. The local folklore museum was established in 1995, featuring traditional dresses, household utensils, farming aids, old photographs and furniture donated by the local people and people from the surrounding villages. A venture by the Athens Piraeus Portianites, who also published a newspaper, Earth Portianou News. As we enter this new chapter, let's navigate the complexities of personalities and unravel its multifaceted nature. Apart from their agricultural and commercial activities, the people of Portianou developed a notable cultural and artistic tradition which is alive to this day. Notable stonemasons were Xenophon Crimidas, Constantinus Vodanos, Paris Vodanos, Demetrius Jim Vodanos, Ilias Vodanos, Panagiotis Fogadiatis, and others. Icon painters such as Gregorios, Manios, and Stratonicus Papamolis, and artists like Yannis Papaionou Paganis and Andreas Kontelis, among others. Educators and writers, notably Despina Vodanau Constantiou, who became the mayor of Myrina, and Kostas Kontelis, who wrote an excellent monogram on Portianou of Lemnos, with a great deal of information and photographs about the history of the village during the 20th century. I love hearing from you, so leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments.